And we're back. It's been a minute. We've been taking a break, recovering. We didn't do a reaction to the final episode of Ashoka because we were sick of it.
Yeah.
So we're back for what we're calling these reaction to Star Wars videos.
SIGH.
Why was it called SIGH?
Star Wars is getting horrible.
Yep, SIGH. Star Wars is getting horrible. So this week, a poster and a trailer for the new Acolyte show dropped. So I'm going to bring up the poster.
Okay.
My daughter hasn't seen it yet.
Nope.
But I will bring it up and we can talk about it. Let me go ahead and add it to the presentation here. Let's share screen. And we want to share this guy. All right. So this is the new poster for Acolyte.
Okay.
In an age of light, a darkness rises. The Acolyte, June 4th.
Oh.
So first impressions, my dear target audience. Teenage girl, target audience, Star Wars.
I don't like it.
What don't you like?
Well, okay.
The blood?
Yeah.
We'll get the blood. That's a big deal. That's a big to me as well.
Because I just don't like blood in general.
Yeah.
But like that just doesn't make sense to me.
The messaging too. Like episode 4, which is the first exposure anybody has in Star Wars, ideally, is a new hope. Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Luke is hope. Luke is a light. He is rising. Even the prequels was about, good triumphing. The sequels,
we don't talk about that.
Darkness rises and blood. So it's a great poster for like a samurai show.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Ronin, great show. If you want to watch Ronin, great show. Yeah, this doesn't feel like Star Wars.
Like, whose side are they on? Like, do they like the good guys or the bad guys? Because this looks like they like the bad guys.
Yeah, so let's talk about the blood.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing, the blood.
Mm-hmm.
Only one scene, one in every single Star Wars movie, show, whatever, has blood. One ever.
Really?
You guess the scene.
I'm trying to... Now that you think about it, I can't think of any scenes with blood.
This guy looked familiar.
A little bit.
Cantina scene. He's harassing Luke. His friend back there is wanted. He's got the death penalty in 6 systems, whatever it is. So this is the first on-camera victim of a lightsaber attack.
Huh.
Obi-Wan steps in, intervenes, and cuts a guy's arm off.
Huh.
And that's from the show, the effect, the blood. And it's the only time in all of Star Wars where a lightsaber injury, or any injury, really creates blood, other than like maybe like a little bit of blood on a face from a punch or something. Like in the sequels, Rey gets beat up a little bit. They have like some stuff. But this is the only time. This is the only time. Every other cut from this moment forward from a lightsaber cauterizes the wound instantly. There's no blood. Luke loses his hand. People get stabbed. Arms get cut off. No blood. So a couple of things is probably George Lucas and the team figuring out what's going to look like. So they had this effect. Yeah. I have a brain cannon. I like a lot of it. Okay. At this point, Obi-Wan's been in the desert for a while, right? He's been hanging out.
Right.
His lightsaber's probably just laying in a box, not being used much. Eventually, it's got a low battery. I got evidence, too. So it's less hot, low battery, so it doesn't cut as cleanly. It hasn't been used in 16 years, we'll say. Luke's 16. It's got to warm up. It's got to get used. It's like a blade. It's been sitting in a box. You got to oil it and salt. So, and the reason why, when I was a kid, when I first saw this, the reason why I thought that is when we had the fight against Vader versus Obi-Wan on the Death Star, famous fight. Look at Vader's lightsaber, thick and red and powerful. Yeah. Obi-Wan had like a dinky little. It was a littler. It's thinner lightsaber. To me, as a kid, I was a child when this stuff came out. I thought Obi-Wan's had, for lack of a better description, a low battery. He just hadn't used the thing in however many years, because just before Luke was born.
Makes sense.
So when he goes to cut the arm off, it's just kind of like a dull blade. It just doesn't work as well as it used to. So that makes sense to me in that sense. You can see that even there, when they're touching, Obi-Wan's blade is clearly thinner and dimmer than Vader's. It's a smaller blade. And to me, it was dim. It was dull. It was not working as well. So for the poster to lean in on blood for the first time in, came out almost 50 years of Star Wars now, to have that be the second instance of blood on an upcoming TV show seems quite fascinating.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
It's intimidating.
Like, the only way to create this wound is like somebody took this lightsaber, didn't turn on, and jabbed it into somebody. Which is really silly. I know somebody mentioned we'll talk about the trailer in a different video, but in the trailer, there's a person using an actual knife instead of a lightsaber, which is fine. But this isn't a knife. This is clearly a lightsaber. I see they're going for like the red lightsaber effect that the Sith use.
Why?
Yeah, because Star Wars, for better or for worse, is targeted at young people. Teenagers and kids, 12-year-old. 12, 13 is probably that ideal time frame. 14, 15, and 16 is also there. Maybe they're going for a more adult show, like a Game of Thrones. Hopefully not going that crazy. Like an R-rated Star Wars. I don't think it'll work as much. The closest we've had so far was probably the first season of Mandalorian, where it's kind of maybe a little too slow for kids at times. But we'll see. So our first thoughts on the poster. You excited about the show? Not excited? Indifferent? Not excited. Me too.
Because if you think of Star Wars movie posters, they have all the characters and it shows the story.
Yes.
What is this?
The first famous poster is Luke holding a lightsaber like this and the light's shooting up and it's this is
not blood shooting out of it.
This is very much a victim of modern art. Very somebody probably took 10 minutes to do this on a computer.
Yeah.
Here's a concrete background. Here's a lightsaber. Here's a splash of red, and then
text.
You can do this in Photoshop probably in half an hour easy. This is somebody took their time, and even the spacing of it is a little weak. It feels like the words you have
that giant gap in the middle.
Right here.
What is that?
I know it's supposed to be I don't know. It just doesn't flow well. You almost want it almost makes like an arrow here.
It does.
And I don't think they meant to do that. So it's just, because then it makes it look like a tennis racket. This is a big tennis racket now.
I feel like they almost could have put the logo right there.
Right in the middle. Put it in the middle. That'd be good. That'd be better.
Better than whatever that is.
It's just, it's so much wasted space. It's just concrete, which makes me think the show's going to be a whole bunch of wasted filler.
Yeah, basically.
Because if you look at, let me see if I can find a proper Star Wars photo. Let me find a proper.
I like A New Hope.
Yeah.
That
let's look at
probably my favorite.
A New Hope, the most iconic poster ever. This one right here. Yeah. This is what you want. This is what you want to have in. I'll call this 8, so it shows right up. This is what you want to have in your poster. Let's see if it loads here. I'll reopen it. Then I'll reshare over here. Present, share screen, window. Here. This is the original Star Wars picture. I'll zoom in a little bit and get some details.
It's so detailed.
You see Luke, you see Leia, you see C-3PO, you see R2-D2, you see X-Wings, you see the Death Star, you see Vader. It's very much...
It captures the movie.
A hopeful message. Again, Luke never had a white lightsaber, but they're going with they're good. They're all dressed in white. Even the droids are white. Yeah. Vader's evil. He's dressed in black. And this is black. It's all evil. Very cool. This was fantasy at its finest. Sci-fi fantasy at its finest. And now we've got that.
So, like you said, that looks Photoshopped. The other one looks like hand painted.
Well, it is. It was. It was definitely hand painted.
So it looks better.
Somebody at Lucas, 20th Century Fox at the time, spent months painting this. Hand painted, painstaking, and it's beautiful. And it'll be beautiful forever because, this kind of a look, you can see the emotion. Obviously, it's not realistic renditions. Mark Hamill was never that buff,
But it's metaphorical almost.
Well, at the time too, swords and sorcery was a big deal. You had the Conan style movies were real big, and people wanted to see shirtless dude. I don't think Mark Hamill gets shirtless at all. But that's they're getting ready. They're prepping up. I don't think Leia was ever this revealing. It's a very revealing dress.
Except in the scene with Jabba the Hutt.
But not that dress, right? The bikini aside, her dress she wore was very conservative compared to this. Again, and you can see C-3PO is not very different from the final rendering. This is obviously they're in pre-production. They have a concept. They're going to paint. The X-wings, maybe aren't perfect. Death Star also, but this was definitely photorealistic, Photoshop.
It doesn't tell you much either.
No. Like, is the darkness the Sith?
Right.
Is the Jedi fighting not Sith? Is there like another threat? It doesn't tell you much. And Acolyte makes you think of like a student, somebody's like apprentice. It's not a word that Star Wars has used before because Padawan, and maybe the Sith use Acolyte for their Padawan, maybe, but it's never been established.
Yeah.
You don't know when this takes place in Star Wars canon. I heard it takes place long before the prequels.
Yeah.
So, but again, is this after the Mandalorian, after the sequels, after the Clone Wars?
And like, how would we know? Like, are they gonna like discuss it? Like,
right.
Hey, today is this day.
Yeah, like how are they gonna establish that? So we've come a long way since this. Cool. I'll give you final thoughts. Anything?
I don't know. There's not much to say because the posters are so
there's not much to
boring.
There's not much to it. Yeah, you're right. Well, thank you everybody for checking out this video. Well, we will watch the trailer here in a little bit and react to the trailer. We've actually watched it once. Yeah. And we want to put our thoughts together because we have a lot of thoughts, a lot of talk about here.
A lot of bad thoughts.
Trailers should be easy. Like I was excited for the trailer for everything except for this one.
Exactly.
I'll give you a sneak peek. Star Wars does kung fu.
Since when? Wait, that's another thing. If it's set before all the other movies, why'd they stop doing kung fu?
We'll find out. We'll talk about the trailer when we do the trailer. This is a poster video. All right. Again, thank you, everybody. And we'll see you guys shortly with the trailer. So what we can do now.